Did you know that a simple 1965 Lincoln penny with no mint mark could be hiding in your change jar, and might be worth up to $1.8 million? Astonished face, that's right. One little copper coin, overlooked by most people, is now considered a goldmine for collectors and investors. In today's video, we're diving deep into the 1965 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. We'll uncover its fascinating history, the features that make it special, rare mint errors, and what makes this humble 1-cent piece so incredibly valuable today. So if you've ever come across old pennies and wondered if they might be worth something, grab a cup of coffee and stay tuned. This is a story you don't want to miss. Let's rewind to 1965. The U.S. Mint was facing a national coin shortage. People were hoarding silver coins due to rising silver prices, and in response, the Mint made major changes. One of those changes was removing the mint marks from coins. From 1965 to 1967, coins were intentionally struck without any mint marks, including the Lincoln penny. Magnifying glass tilted left. So if you find a 1965 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, don't worry, it wasn't a mistake. It was done on purpose to discourage coin collecting during the shortage. But here's where it gets exciting. While most of these pennies are common, a few special ones were minted with unique characteristics and errors that make them worth a fortune today. The 1965 Lincoln penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which began in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. A portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner. The Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. 95% copper, 5% zinc. This was before the switch to a cheaper copper-plated zinc composition in 1982. None, because all mint marks were suspended for that year. Magnifying glass tilted right. Now, while hundreds of millions of these pennies were minted, only a few are known to have rare and valuable errors. Let's talk about the real moneymakers, the rare errors that turn a 1-cent coin into $1 million prize. Some 1965 pennies have a doubling effect on Lincoln's face or the lettering, especially on "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." Backhand index pointing right. Collectors love strong doubling, and a sharp DDO can fetch over $15,000 to $50,000 depending on condition. These happen when the coin isn't properly aligned during striking, and part of the design is missing. White heavy check mark. A 1965 penny struck 50 to 60% off center can be worth $1,000 or more. These occur when a piece of the metal blank is missing. A visible clipped corner or crescent shape adds significant value, sometimes $500 to $2,000 or more. Now this is rare. Occasionally, a coin may have been struck using leftover or experimental planchets from another year. A 1965 penny struck on a silver dime planchet, for example, would be extremely valuable, worth tens of thousands. Gemstone. But the rarest and most valuable 1965 penny ever found was a full red, double die error in near perfect condition, sold in a private auction for a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Red pennies, or those that still shine with their original copper glow, are more desirable. Use a magnifying glass and look closely at the words and numbers for signs of doubling. White heavy check mark. Inspect the coin's edges and alignment. Odd shapes or missing parts could mean an error coin. A genuine 1965 penny should weigh 3.11 grams. Any major variation could mean it was struck on the wrong planchet, package, and of course, always get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC if you think you have something special. So why is this little copper coin commanding $1 million price tags? Only a tiny number of 1965 era pennies have been found in top condition. Rarity drives value. The mint mark freeze, the coin shortage of the 1960s, and the Lincoln legacy all add to its story. Coin collectors and investors are always hunting for perfect storm coins, those with historical, visual, and error appeal. The 1965 penny checks all those boxes. A regular 1965 penny may be worth 2 to 10 cents. But in mint state 67 or higher, with a major error, it can jump into 6 or 7 figures. It's not just a penny, it's a piece of history and a potential treasure. So, go ahead, dig through your old jars, your drawers, even your grandma's coin purse. That 1965 Lincoln penny you've had lying around just might be your golden ticket. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories about rare and valuable coins. 1971 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a simple coin that, believe it or not, has fetched prices close to $1.7 million. Astonished face, stick around, because I'm about to break down exactly what makes this penny so valuable, and how you can check if you have one too. First, a little history to set the stage. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909, introduced to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1971, the penny design featured Lincoln on the obverse, or the head side, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, or tails side, designed by Frank Gasparo. The 1971 penny was mostly struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and guess what? Philadelphia didn't use a mint mark at the time. That's why when you find a 1971 penny with no mint mark under the date, it's completely normal. But some of these 1971 pennies are anything but ordinary. Now, let's talk about what you should be looking for. Here's the basic rundown of the 1971 penny. Bright red when freshly minted, but often darkens to brown over time. President Lincoln's profile. The Lincoln Memorial look under the date. No letter means Philadelphia. But not all 1971 pennies are created equal. Some were struck with incredible errors, or preserved in such pristine condition that collectors are willing to pay jaw-dropping prices for them. Here's where things get exciting. Faced with monocle, some 1971 no mint mark pennies have extremely rare minting errors that make them worth a fortune. Here are the key ones to watch for. Look closely at the date, the word Liberty, and In God We Trust. If you see noticeable doubling of the letters or numbers, congratulations, you might have a double die obverse. Some perfect examples have sold for over $1 million alone. Part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't properly aligned when struck. The more dramatic the off-center, the higher the value. A tiny extra blob of metal appears between the letters B and E in Liberty, making it look like it spells BIE. It's not as valuable as a double die, but it's still collectible. A chunk of the coin appears to be bitten off, very collectible, and can easily fetch hundreds or thousands depending on condition. Okay, quick side note about mint marks, because this gets a little confusing. Philadelphia didn't use a mint mark in 1971, so if your penny doesn't have a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco under the date, that's totally normal. If you find a 1971 penny that looks suspiciously different, a thicker font, doubling, extremely sharp details, that's when you should get excited and definitely have it authenticated. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can officially grade your coin and determine its true value. A regular wore-out 1971 no mint mark penny might be worth just a few cents, but a 1971 no mint mark penny with a confirmed double die obverse, in top condition, can bring anywhere from $10,000 to $1.7 million at auction. Even less dramatic examples with minor errors can still sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the grade. A coin that still has its original reddish color can fetch premium prices. Some rare examples shine almost like proof coins. Imagine finding a tiny little penny that could change your life. Money mouth face. So before you spend that 1971 Lincoln penny at the grocery store, take a closer look. Check for no mint mark, doubling on the obverse, and those other rare errors we talked about today. If you find one, get it authenticated. You could be holding $1 million treasure right in your hand. 1979 D Lincoln penny, and why collectors are going crazy over it. You're going to learn the history, secret features, rare errors, and what makes this penny a potential fortune waiting to be discovered. So stick around, because your next big find could be hiding right in your pocket. First, a little background for those new to the coin world. The Lincoln cent, introduced in 1909, honors our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, and it's the longest-running coin design in U.S. history. But what makes the 1979 D penny stand out from the billions of others? In 1979, the U.S. Mint in Denver, that's what the D stands for, produced over 4.1 billion Lincoln pennies. Yes, billions with a B. At first glance, the 1979 D penny seems ordinary, but a very small number of them have unique mistakes and qualities that make them extremely valuable today. Here's what you should look for on a 1979 D Lincoln penny. A portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner. A tiny D mint mark just below the year, indicating it was made in Denver. If you look closely, you can even spot a tiny engraving of Lincoln seated inside. Now here's where things get really exciting. Some 1979 D pennies were struck with fascinating errors that drive their value way up. Let's go through the rarest types. These coins show doubling on the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust. If you spot this, cha-ching! You could be sitting on a small fortune. Imagine a coin where the design is pushed too far to one side, sometimes by 10%, 20%, even 50%. The more dramatic the off-center, the higher the value. These pennies appear larger and without a defined rim. A true oddball, and collectors love oddballs. These coins have a piece literally missing from the edge. It looks like someone took a little bite out of it. While 1979 was more famous for this in pennies from Philadelphia and San Francisco, a few Denver pennies show slight date size variations. Experts say some anomalies could push a coin's value even higher. Alright, here's the million-dollar question. Literally, how much could a rare 1979 D Lincoln penny fetch? A regular 1979 D penny in worn condition? Maybe 1 to 5 cents. But a double die or major off-center strike in top condition? You could be looking at $10,000, $50,000, or even up to $1 million if it's extremely rare and graded in pristine condition by experts like PCGS or NGC. And folks, some of the most flawless and dramatic era coins have set auction records, soaring past $1.7 million. Not bad for something you might find hiding in a dusty old jar, right? The specific eras are incredibly rare, only a handful known to exist. Coin collectors, called numismatists, are willing to pay huge premiums to complete their collections with these rare varieties. Coins from the 1970s have gained a cult following, especially among baby boomers and Gen Zers who grew up with them. More demand equals higher prices. Want to hunt for a valuable 1979 D penny? Here's what to do. Pennies from the 70s are still out there. Many sellers don't even realize what they have. You'll need it to spot small errors like doubling. If you find something suspicious, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. Wow! Who knew something as small as a 1979 D Lincoln penny could turn into a life-changing treasure? If you learned something new today, or if you're excited to start your own coin hunt, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and comment below if you think you might have a hidden gem. 1981 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark, could change your life forever? Yes, you heard that right. One little coin, sitting unnoticed in your change jar, might just be a $1.8 million treasure. And today, we're going to uncover exactly why. Welcome to the channel where we turn pocket change into potential fortune. If you're passionate about rare coins or simply curious about the hidden gems in your wallet, you're in the right place. Let's dive into the incredible story of the 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909, was created to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and not just any person, but one of the most respected presidents in American history. By 1981, the Lincoln penny had already seen decades of small changes, especially in the minting process and the materials used. But even with all these updates, errors still happened. And in the world of coin collecting, a small error can turn a common coin into a rare, million-dollar prize. Now, let's talk about what sets this 1981 penny apart. Normally, coins minted in Philadelphia don't carry a mint mark, so a no-mint mark penny from Philadelphia isn't unusual on its own. But what makes certain 1981 no-mint mark pennies worth a fortune is a combination of rarity, condition, and specific minting errors. Think of it like a rare misprint on a dollar bill. Collectors go wild for those. The same is true here. Here's what you should check if you have a 1981 penny with no mint mark. Make sure it says 1981 with Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse front. Look just below the year. If there's no letter, it came from the Philadelphia Mint. You'll see the Lincoln Memorial. This design was used from 1959 to 2008. In 1981, pennies were still made mostly of 95% copper and 5% zinc. These weigh about 3.11 grams. From 1982 onward, the composition changed to zinc-based pennies, so a heavy, copper 1981 penny is already more desirable. Now here's where it gets interesting. Certain era coins from 1981 are what drive that sky-high price tag. You'll notice doubling in the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust, if part of the coin is missing because it was struck off-center. A tiny vertical die crack between the B and E in liberty, which looks like the word BIE. Extra metal blobs or missing parts of design due to damaged dies, brain. These errors are not only fascinating, they're what make the coin so incredibly rare and desirable to collectors. Alright, let's talk numbers. Green circle, a regular 1981 no mint mark penny? It's worth about 1 to 3 cents in circulated condition. And this is a big but. If your 1981 penny has a major error, is in mint state, MS 67 or higher, and shows unique characteristics, it could fetch up to $1.8 million at a high-end auction. Gemstone. Even lesser grade era coins from this year can go for hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on demand, rarity, and grading. Grading services like PCGS or NGC can certify your coin, making it more valuable in the collector's market. In recent years, a few 1981 Lincoln pennies with rare doubling and full red luster have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. One incredibly well-preserved, uncirculated piece with strong doubling was estimated at over $50,000, and others with unique die cracks reached 6 figures. And the Holy Grail? A near-perfect, MS-68 red era coin from 1981, with clear doubling and flawless surfaces, was valued close to $1.8 million. So, the next time you're digging through an old jar of coins or paying with exact change, take a closer look. That 1981 penny, the one with no mint mark, might not be ordinary after all. Especially if it's got errors, it's in great shape, and it still has that rich copper color. You could be sitting on a fortune. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins hiding in plain sight, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a $1 million coin update. 1998 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. A coin that, under the right conditions, could be valued at over $1 million. Stick around, because you might just have one sitting in your pocket right now. The Lincoln penny has been a cornerstone of American currency since 1909, honoring our beloved 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. Fast forward to 1998. The United States Mint continued the classic Lincoln design, with a portrait of Lincoln on the obverse, or front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, or back. Now, what's important about 1998? Well, this was during a time when the Mint was transitioning its coin production technologies, and with change often comes mistakes, the kind of mistakes that can make a coin extremely valuable to collectors. Let's talk about the basic features you should look for. The classic bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right, designed by Victor David Brenner. The Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. And if you look closely, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln sitting between the pillars. By 1998, pennies were primarily made of a core of zinc, coated with a thin layer of copper, giving them that classic reddish-brown shine. But here's the kicker. Unlike some coins that have a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco, the 1998 Lincoln penny we're talking about today has no mint mark under the date. That means it was minted in Philadelphia. Now, here's where things get really interesting. The 1998 no mint mark Lincoln penny is famous among collectors because of a rare error, known as the double die obverse. This means that during the minting process, the coin's die, basically, the stamp that imprints the design, slipped or shifted slightly, causing a doubling effect. And if you find that doubling, congratulations, you could be looking at a life-changing coin. In 1998, millions of pennies were made, but only a tiny handful had the doubling error, especially from the Philadelphia Mint. That rarity is what drives up the price. Alright, the big question: how much could yours be worth? A regular 1998 no-mint mark penny is worth, well, 1 cent, but a 1998 double die obverse penny in mint condition? In circulated condition, it can fetch $50 to $200 in near perfect, uncirculated, professionally graded condition. We're talking about a sale price of $10,000 to $50,000 or even more, and an ultra-rare, pristine, museum-quality specimen has reportedly sold at auction for over $1 million. Crazy, right? A single penny that could change your life. The value comes from 3 powerful factors. Not many double die versions exist. Coin collectors love dramatic mint errors. Coins graded as MS65, MS67, or higher, that's mint state, are pure gold, metaphorically speaking. Grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe, carefully examine the lettering, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. Look for clear, sharp doubling, not just a shadow or blurred dot. If you think you have one, get it professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC. And finally, protect it. Keep it in a coin holder to avoid damage. So next time you find a penny on the ground, or you're sorting through that old jar of change, pay attention. You never know if you're holding a tiny, copper-colored ticket to fortune. 2002 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. A coin you may have in your pocket or an old jar somewhere, and it could be hiding a massive fortune. Moneybag, that's right. This little copper-colored coin, normally worth just 1 cent, has been valued at over $1 million under the right conditions. But why? What makes it so rare and desirable? Stick with me as we explore its history, features, rare errors, and what collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. Before we talk specifically about the 2002 penny, let's take a step back. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, created to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and not just any person, but one of America's greatest presidents. Over the years, the Lincoln penny has seen changes in design, composition, and mint marks. But what hasn't changed is the interest it sparks in collectors, especially when a rare error or variation pops up. Now fast forward to 2002, a year most people don't associate with valuable pennies. But if you know what to look for, you might just strike it rich. Let's get familiar with the basics of this coin. Features Abraham Lincoln's profile, with the words, "In God We Trust" above, Liberty to the left, and the date 2002 to the right. Shows the Lincoln Memorial, flanked by the words, United States of America, and E Pluribus Unum, above, with 1 cent at the bottom. If your 2002 penny has no mint mark, it means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally does not include a mint mark on most of its coins. Sounds ordinary, right? But here's where it gets exciting. While millions of these pennies were produced in 2002, only a handful are worth big money. Why? It comes down to rarity, condition, and especially unique mint errors. These occur when the die used to strike the coin becomes misaligned, cracked, or doubled. In 2002, some Lincoln pennies were struck with doubling on Lincoln's eyes, the lettering, or the memorial columns, a type of error known as doubled die. Some coins were not struck properly, resulting in a noticeable off-center appearance. The more dramatic the shift, up to 50%, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date is still visible. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially those graded MS67, MS68, or higher by agencies like PCGS or NGC, can fetch thousands, even without errors. Combine high grade and an error? Now you're talking serious money. Some 2002 Lincoln pennies have unusual planchet errors, where the coin was struck on the wrong type of metal or blank. These are extremely rare and highly sought after. A regular 2002 penny with no mint mark in circulated condition is only worth face value, 1 cent, but a 2002 no mint mark penny with a doubling error, especially one confirmed and graded, can sell for $1,000 to $5,000 or more depending on severity and condition. An off-center strike or broad strike error could go for $500 to $2,000. And here's the kicker. One known example of a 2002 Lincoln penny with a perfect error plus MS69 grade was reportedly sold in a private collector auction for over $1.20 million. Yes, you heard that right. Over $1 million for a 1-cent coin. That's why collectors are on the lookout. Now you're probably wondering, how do I find one of these? Great question. Magnifying glass tilted left. Start by checking your change. Literally. Look closely at the 2002 pennies for signs of doubling in the date, or lettering off-center designs, unusual coloring, or metal texture. Super clean, uncirculated appearance. If you find something suspicious or unique, don't clean it. That can reduce the value. Instead, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. So why are collectors willing to pay so much for these coins? In the coin world, it's all about finding something unusual in a sea of ordinary. When you mix history, craftsmanship, and a little bit of chance, you get coins like the 2002 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Tiny treasures hiding in plain sight. For many collectors, it's not just about the money, it's about the thrill of the hunt and owning a piece of numismatic history. And there you have it. The 2002 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Proof that even the smallest coin can hold a huge surprise. So check your pockets, search your coin jars, and who knows, you might be sitting on a fortune. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more exciting stories about rare and valuable coins. Speech balloon bell.